Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Let me see who was here first. Who was here first? About an hour and something ago. Uh, hey, Lydia. Connie Bummer. Hey, Connie Bummer. Let me see who. Oh, Nancy Herlock, yes, is here third. Enjoy Amore and Doris Blanchard, uh, Dorothy Ross with the hugs, Foxy, Ladybird, Elaine Parker, Nancy Herlock, uh, Black Queen. Okay, okay, let's get on with it. Sorry, you guys. I went and pulled on a thread, and you know what happens when I do that. Um, Also, hello to who else is here? Susie Q. Anyway, you guys, something awful happened in, was it Mississippi? So I want you guys to make sure that you are sending your prayers to the people of Mississippi. Uh, Also, even though this is a time of tragedy for people in Mississippi, as I know from the analytics, we are an older crowd. And as older people, we have to remind each other not to get taken in by some of those really sinister people that try to create these fake charities. If you want to do something, make sure you stick with an agency that like the Red Cross. You can never go wrong with the Red Cross. But stick with an agency that has been tried, true, and tested, something that has been vetted, if you will, for years, because that is so important. Because if you're going to make a donation, or if you are in the area and you want to volunteer, you want to make sure that you are in touch with the right people. But yeah, this has been a terrible thing. And the gentleman that you see on the screen there, that is a local weatherman. And y'all know how emotional Susie Q and I can be sometimes. And so I get triggered by certain things. But um, this gentleman that you see on the screen was so taken back by the events that he literally offered prayer on television, which is something that you don't ever see or hear that often. Um, but his words was, "Oh man," he said, "Dear Jesus, please help them. Amen." Very simple words, but also very, very emotional. So this guy has really captured the imagination of a lot of people um, because of the fact that you just never see this. I mean, he has. I'm trying not to say this is like now he has a following because, but that is a thing. He is trending because of it. So, um, but yeah, so he said what a lot of people were thinking. And because of his knowledge of the event, of the weather, because of what he was seeing on the radar, I actually watched it earlier, and he can see through the various colors that it was like one of those things. And he said at that point, debris, and I've never heard this before, but the debris can be pulled up as high as 12,000 feet. So he urged people to go to a solid space in your home. If you have a helmet, put it on. I mean, he was literally giving out instructions. The weather was so bad that I think the television station had to stream because they lost their signal. So it was incredible, and I have to say, in the midst of all the disaster, some 25 people that they know of lost their lives, and it doesn't seem to be a very wealthy county. The president says he is offering full federal support and is praying with Jill for those who have lost loved ones in Mississippi's devastating tornado. At least 25 people were killed across the two states, the majority in Mississippi. But as search and rescue teams comb the rubble, they say that they can expect more people to have been killed. So, and this, I think it happened. It was nighttime, which just adds to the panic, I suppose. But having debris whipped as high as 12,000 feet, well, obviously it's going to come down and it's going to come down hard. Now, I believe Mississippi has asked for a state of emergency, maybe both states. Um, wow, Mississippi and Alabama, I think it was. But how awful. I mean, the homes were literally razed to rubble. Um, you don't see much of a house left. You just see a lot of timbers and twigs and such. So what a situation to be in. And it is that time of year uh, when tornadoes can form, and that's one of the things about the Midwest, all the way down to the South, where the hurricanes come in. The winds sometimes is unbelievable. And didn't they just have like a tornado somewhere on the West Coast, which is rare? Wow. So that was quite a thing. So I'm wondering if World Central Kitchen is going to make their way there. They did for the last really big tornado that I know of. So if that is the case, I'll I'll be looking forward to seeing them there. So again, if you are going to try to offer support in any kind of way, do make sure um, that you are not taken in by some scammers or something like that. Just wait before you do anything, and be very clear what you want to do, because it's the worst part of it is not that you're losing money, but it's that the people that need it will not receive it if it's going to some scammer. So just something to think about. Anyway, thank you, you guys, and wow, I'm looking at the photos. Such devastation. You go to bed and you wake up and your whole neighborhood is gone. Your whole house is gone. Weird thing about those types of events is that you will see one house has been lifted off the foundation and thrown down the street. And I believe they said at some points these tornadoes were like 2 miles wide. And then in other situations, you can see the whole wall of a house is gone, but the beds are still made, the pictures are still on the wall. Um, you know, except for missing a whole side of the house, everything is pretty untouched. And then in other cases, nothing is touched. So wow, what a situation. So I I don't even want to share the pictures of the destruction, because you guys have seen plenty of that. So if you want to go and check it out, you can. But hats off to this guy. Let me see, what is his name. It is what do you call it? It is the right thing to do, is to at least give him a name. Let me see, Matt Laubhan, 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 Loban. Yeah, Loban. I think that's what it is. Wonder if that's French. Huh, okay. Wow. Well, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm so distracted here looking at this. It's like I guess it's like knowing that there's a disaster coming and watching it real time on television. That is uh, that's something I've never seen before. Okay, okay. So let me say hello to a few people before I get started. And okay. Uh, Rosalind Gatewood, hello. Mo Shannon, Sean. Uh, hey, Sean. Elaine Parker, Alma Andrews, Teresa McDougal. Oh man, let me see here. Christopher Puffmont. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Cynthia Thorpe. Jeannie Hyde. Very cool. Thank you so much for being here. Choda Cece. All right. So with that, I am going to get started. So you guys, like I said, I started pulling on a thread. And why did I do that? Why did I do that? Um, let's start with this guy. Robert Jobson. Well, as you guys know, Robert Jobson has been trending for the worst possible reasons. Um, there were times when I thought, you know, he's not the worst person. I have a bit of respect because it seems like he's a journalist who has found himself benefiting from basking in the glow of the royal family. And he was so critical of William at one time. I could not believe the scathing report that he made about William when he was off skiing and being derelict of his duty. Now I'm thinking differently about it because I kind of feel like it wasn't so much Robert Jobson was trying to set William straight as much as it was he was probably speaking or briefing for someone at the palace. That's what I'm thinking is that he was probably speaking or briefing for someone at the palace. Maybe. I can't say 100%, but it just seems like one of those situations where someone is briefing for the palace. Um, but either way, what he said was so sloppy and so clumsy and so irresponsible. And we discussed it yesterday and I went back and listened to it again. I did go back and listen to it again. And it was so interesting to hear it the second time because, let me see here. Let me see if I can find it. I'll let you guys listen to it. Um, and I got it sorted out from yesterday, so it should be clearer than it was yesterday.
All about you.
Blows out Archie's birthday.
Candles, and it's all about you, Archie. It's all
They'll
about
sing
you.
happy birthday on the balcony to Archie. Yeah.
The balcony,
Oh,
the
yeah.
balcony.
Yeah. Michael Jackson thing where they hold him over the.
No way. That's not going to happen.
With the crown.
Well, you know what? That one cuts off, but the lady with the brown, she actually said, let's not go there. And that's what I missed yesterday. So I went back and I watched it again, and I didn't realize that part of it was chopped off at the end. But the lady that was in brown, not Emily, but the other lady, she actually was saying, let's not go there. Uh, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Um, oh man. Yeah, I got to share this one, but I'm going to share it later. I have to share this one with you. Leave it to the squad. Leave it to the squad. Incredible. Oh man. Oh, wait till you see it. Wait till you see it. Now you know how usually I'm saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I looked at my Twitter. I'm so sorry. I looked at my Twitter." I'm so glad I looked at my Twitter. I'd have missed this one if I hadn't looked at it. Let me see here. I'm going to save it though. I'm going to save it for later. Sorry for the tease, but I'm going to save it for later. I'll share it with you when it makes sense. But sorry for the tease. I'm so sorry. But my God, that is rich. I love it. Matter of fact, let me move it over here now before I miss the opportunity. Oh man, I'm telling you guys are going to love it. Don't get cross with me. I promise you this will be worth it. So glad I took a look. So glad I took a look. Okay, so let me do this because you know what? Never mind. I'm going to show you right now. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I just can't. Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Saturday to you. Okay, so as you guys may have heard yesterday, and we're going to get back to Robert Jobson because trust me, I have a lot to say about that. And I'm just getting started, but I have a lot to say about that. So as you know, yesterday we were having this discussion about Charles III not being able to go to France because of the uproar that's going on about the what do you call it? The raising the pension from age 62 to 64, which, you know, that is literally moving the goalposts on people who anticipated their retirement. I wouldn't like that either. So there were people that were absolutely furious about it. As a matter of fact, they canceled. They were literally going to take Charles and Camilla to the Palace of Versailles. Could you imagine how irresponsible it would be to take Camilla? Oh my God, Camilla, they're protesting at the Palace of Versailles. And we were going to have organic duck tonight. Well, they wisely decided no visit right now because things are just way out of hand, right? So someone in the Sussex squad had figured out a way that the Joya Moore, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Saturday. Someone had figured out a way that Charles and Camilla can still go to France and also do service while they're there. All they have to do is help them clean up that trash. I told you would love it. All you have to do is help them pick up that trash. Now, okay, this is not my handiwork. I did this, but I didn't do that. That I don't know who did this, but I love it. That is how you can get the king and the cohort there, is just put the high vis outfits on them, give them some gloves, and let them help pick up Paris. Now, I think that this is a capital idea. I love it. I love it. This is what you call love at first sight. I love it. Camilla, don't forget to pick up the nappies. Oh my God, Camilla, they're throwing away organic bananas. Camilla, do you think I can get a croissant after this? I just wonder when Camilla gets a chance to take a break to have some whiskey and cigarettes. But something tells me Camilla smokes cigars. I cannot see her smoking a cigarette. That's too dainty. A cigar, probably. So, yes, Camilla, the Queen of Versailles, Camilla Antoinette. I think that would be perfect for her. So, let them do some community service, some universal service, and then let them go over. Yes, exactly, Jeannie Hyde. Now, that is the definition of a working royal every time. I think that's perfect. Okay, so let's get back to Jobo. Okay, Robert Jobson. So Robert Jobson's account was locked. He locked his account. This man literally locked his account. I was trying to go onto his account so I could see some of the reactions from the squatties, and don't you know the account is locked. But then I started going through my receipts and finding little things from the past, like this one right here. The government must ban Harry from his father's coronation. He'll turn a sacred solemn rite into a circus. Really, Robert Jobson? He's going to turn it into a circus? He went there. Robert Jobson claims that Harry should not be invited. And I don't even know what the date is on that, but that was some time ago. Matter of fact, I can tell you right now because that's probably around the time I saved it. How long ago was that? That he made this assertion about Harry showing up. I still don't see it. But yes, Robert Jobson wrote a whole column about why Harry should not go to the coronation. There it is, January 15th. So around January 15th, that is when I saved that. So it may have even been as early as December, but he said it. Can't see the date on the paper. But yeah, that's Robert Jobson. Noreen Bengali, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And also thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciated. Still a bargain at just $4.99. That's right, just $4.99. As seen on YouTube, a real Royal Sussex YouTube membership is just $4.99. And then right there, you can see the rest of Myers. Russell Myers, he sent a response to him. Oprah Mountbatten-Windsor is now 100-1 odds as Harry and Meghan's baby name at the bookies. If they have a girl, I think it says, perhaps Phantom is another one. Perhaps Phantom. What is Phantom supposed to mean? What is that supposed to mean? Perhaps Phantom. Wow. Oh man, Robert Jobson has been busy. He has been busy. I didn't know, I didn't really look at his Twitter that often. Sometimes I would just go there to, see certain things that he said, verify it and whatever. But I didn't know. I mean, I knew that he could be a bit dodgy, but I didn't know that he was absolutely nasty and reckless and irresponsible on so many occasions that is. Alma Andrews, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Saturday to you. I can't say who has a bigger tummy, Robert Jobson or Thomas Markle. Both look 8 months pregnant. Maybe they have a Lamaze class together. I would love to see the two of them in a Lamaze class. I mean, Robert Jobson and Thomas Markle wearing some Lululemon yoga pants. That is definitely a portrait that Norman Rockwell forgot to paint. As a matter of fact, that's a portrait you couldn't pay Rockwell to paint. But yeah, I tell you, along with seeing the ancient pyramids in the Aztec uh, areas of Mexico, or perhaps even the pyramids of Egypt, I would love to see Robert Jobson in some Lululemon yoga pants. Um, oh man, didn't Jules Verne have a book about Robert Jobson and Thomas Markle Sr. In wait, let me get this out. Wasn't there? I gotta wait. Wasn't wasn't there a movie at one time called When Worlds Collide? Right? Wasn't that a movie When Worlds Collide? Thomas Markle Sr. and Robert Jobson's hot what is it? Fun movie for the summer, fun comedy for the summer. Two pregnant men in their eighth month meet meet at a Lamaze class. It's not that they're really pregnant; they're just trying to figure out how to get up out of a seated position faster. But woo! Okay, I got to stop. Oh man, my face hurts. Yeah, it's not that they're really pregnant. They're just trying to figure out how to get out of a seated position faster. But how to take pressure off of their lower spine. Oh man, let me get back to my scathing critique of Robert Jobson. So right here, you can see where Anne Boleyn says, pathetically trying to distract from the Liverpool wait a minute, what does she call it? Boobily. I know it was, I mean, I knew it was coming. So I do remember this though. Robert Jobson said, you know how he's always gasping for air. Whatever happened to the Buckingham Palace investigation into the Duchess of Sussex allegedly bullying staff? Remember that? Uh, as he was gasping for air to get that out. And I do remember that. It was just like out of nowhere, Robert Jobson's asking the question about bullying staff. Now, see, this is why it's important to save receipts, because when something like this happens, you need to go back and reference certain things. And the only way to do that is to make sure you keep receipts. But it's a team effort, it's a group effort. And fortunately, there are a lot of people in the Sussex squad that are doing likewise. So we borrow and trade and save receipts all the time. And at the time, I was very disappointed with Robert Jobson. And increasingly, I'm just like, wow, that's kind of nasty, isn't it? You know, but only to realize that there was more coming down the pike. So he has written the definitive book about Charles. He's written a book about William turning 40. And of course, that didn't just limit him to writing about the heir. and the future Prince of Wales, William, he wrote about a lot of stuff. That's what he does. He writes, he eats, he gasps for air. He does a lot of stuff. He works hard to get out of a seated position. Like right here, Elizabeth I or Henry VIII would have had Prince William's head for less, says author. Well, I've never seen this one before. Pat Williams, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Let me see. Robert Jobson is a terrible OB. He should visit a health clinic before making nasty remarks about Archie. He really should. He should just do it for his own sake, really. But still. Okay. All right. So in the little box there, that is a receipt. It says, is Harry now proposing his alternative monarchy? He will fix the monarchy. He's lucky is his pa on the throne and not Henry VIII or Elizabeth I. He would have had his head, they would have had his head for less. And it seems as an attempted coup, he is deluded with a laugh emoji. Oh wow, that's kind of hard to see, but and so this is the thing about that. It is kind of a snarky, cheeky thing to say, right? I think in the US we say snarky. In the UK, you guys usually say cheeky. He has a lot of cheek. Either way you look at it, it leads to this idea that Harry and Meghan are somehow attempting to overthrow the monarchy. Harry is trying to reform the monarchy. He said he still believes that there is a purpose for the monarchy, but he doesn't like the way the monarchy has treated people, in particular himself. But the monarchy is one thing. Then there's the tabloid media. And combined, look at how many lives have been destroyed, not only because of the monarchy teaming up with the tabloid media. Like, for instance, let's look at Princess Margaret. Let's look at Andrew. Andrew, I don't think he was just born that way. I think that the pressures of the institution and the, lack of purpose. As a matter of fact, I would dare to venture to say that if you ever really took a good look at the life that Margaret led, there is the actual life that she led. And let's not forget those trips down to the Caribbean. And then there was the parties in London and so on. So pretty dodgy. And some of it, I have to have a great deal of sympathy for her because it's a tough position to be in. You have no purpose. You have a lot of notoriety, but you have no purpose. And of course, with all of the things that they have done in the past to all the spares, even going back past Victoria's time, they were planning that same thing for Harry. And he literally broke the mold. He broke the mold. He is an outlier. He is unique, an enigma, an anomaly when it comes to being a spare. He saw what was behind the curtains. That's his word. I've seen what was behind the curtain, and I decided I didn't want it. He decided he didn't want it. And even though they try to make him the butt of the joke, even though they're trying to abuse him and his entire family, they're laughing today or pretending to laugh. But tomorrow, we will see how many other royals in that family tried to do the same. As a matter of fact, there was one not so long ago who tried to break free. someone else who has had some pretty terrible identity problems. So much so that they went to the nearest courtier, couture shops and had them create him a very bespoke maxi coat that doesn't exist anyplace else in the British military. He tried his hand at having a production company. He married a woman who had a career before entering that family. She wasn't sitting around waiting, she had a career. Now, mind you, both of them are not the best business people in the world. Um, but yeah, they both kind of had to conform to be a part of that family. They were discouraged from trying to be productive and useful. So that's what that institution does to people. And Robert Jobson, he knows better. But in spite of that, just like a big parasite, he's sitting up there feeding off of this misery that has been created by that institution and of course by the tabloids that he works for. Harry is receiving backlash for his latest attack on the royal family. A couple of days after releasing his tell all memoir, Spare, Harry was interviewed by The Telegraph. During his interview, Harry said he wants to save the royal family from themselves. The Duke of Sussex said he has enough content for a second book, but his family will not forgive him. He also said that he wants to help Prince William's children because ONC, or what is that, ONC? Because something, and will end up like them. Because he doesn't want to. Well, I don't know what that is. That must be a typo. The author and the journalist Robert Jobson hits back at Prince Harry and suggested Harry would have been executed if Queen Elizabeth I or Henry VIII were on the throne. Now that kind of incendiary comment, especially in the age in which we live, I mean, there was someone who had enough resources to spend the night with the Queen's guards. There was someone who managed to cross over into Windsor Castle with a crossbow. And of course, we can't forget there was someone who literally sat in the Queen's bedroom. And again, be careful of the hole that you're trying to dig for other people, and hope that somebody doesn't get a piece of excavation equipment and a team of construction workers, and probably I mean, they'd have to have a pretty big hole for him. But he better hope that uh, a, a handful of people don't dig a hole for him somewhere. I mean, these kind of things have a way of coming back on you. Just ask Eamon Holmes. So let's see. Talking to Twitter, he said, "Is Harry now proposing an alternative monarchy? He will fix the monarchy. He's lucky his pa on his. I'm sorry, is his pa on the throne and not Henry VIII or Elizabeth I?" He added, "They would have had his head for less, and seems it as an attempted coup. Is he deluded?" Now that's the part that really gets me, is attempted coup, as though Harry is trying to wage violence against the royal family, as if Harry is trying to do some type of Game of Thrones against the royal family. Lori says Robert Jobson's all this time has been as vile as all the other rodents. He surely is more dangerous than the other ones as he plays both sides of some points, the Royals and the Sussexes. That's true, Lori. He does try to dabble over on the other side. He does try to stick his gout swollen toe into the other waters. Gracie Infuabi, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Beverly McCaskill says, as Prince Harry said also, they didn't accept him to leave that nasty family. I am sending the Sussex family lots of love and prayers for the court cases and for their lives. Amen to that, Beverly McCaskill. Okay, and Maria Murdoch said, oh, it's a super sticker. Thank you so much for the super sticker, Maria Murdoch, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And TR Shrugs, thank you for the super sticker. Happy Saturday to you, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And of course, yes, and look at that heel on that runaway. You are speaking of the newly minted Duke of Edinburgh, who has that very very muscular leg. And yes, let's take a look at the runway. Yes, walk, girl. You better walk. Work. Isn't that how they say it? Work. You better walk, girl. Work. She's causing it. She is the moment. She's causing it. Thank you for that, Sean. Let me see here. Okay, let me go on to the next one. And so right here, and listen, you guys, I wasn't sure. I told you guys, I like to verify things before I share it. And so even though that screenshot, see the little square right there, even though it looks very legitimate, I had to try to find it. So because he blocked his account, I couldn't. But I did find not one, but several accounts of it, like here that quoted his tweet, and here, International, the news, or the News International, they quoted his tweet. Prince Harry is lucky his father is on the throne, says author. So it was pretty well known about at the time, back in January. So even though, see, this is the thing about receipts. All right, so one of the squatties had that, and I wanted to make sure that it was legitimate, because there are some squatties, even though I think most of them mean well. My allergies. I think even though most of them mean well, sometimes they will reimagine. Oh, thank you so much for the Cash App. I'll just say S, but thank you very much for the Cash App, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Saturday to you. But yeah, so I had to double check it, and that was one way to do it. So Lydia Washington says, Baron, one of Joy Amore's patients is waiting on you to sing sometime tonight as the spirit moves you. Really? No pressure. I know, no pressure, but yes, there's always a song, isn't it? But thank you for reminding me about that. And to the patient of Joy Amores, thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Saturday to you. And thank you, Lydia Washington. Okay, so let's go here. Now, there it is. There's the little family of Kokens. No, I'm sorry. How about this? Check out that curious quartet. And notice that during these little interviews that they stage, they have a shelf in the background so that the various authors can bring their books with them. Speaking of authors, there's Arthur Anderson. No, I'm sorry, Arthur. God, what is his name? Arthur. Oh, I cannot remember his shady name. Arthur Edwards. There you go. And of course, the lady behind Robert Jobson, you can barely see her, but that, of course, is But Where Are the Clowns? There ought to be clowns. Well, maybe she's here. Don't she wear blush too much, I think? And her hair is a mess. Where is her sink? But where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. Well, that's her, my dear. Yes, Emily, send in the clowns, Andrews. She was the one who was kind of, I told you she's very messy. That little snap right there, that was the day. Do you guys remember when they had that who was that was grilling? They literally grilled um oh gosh, Angela Levin. And then of course, shady Emily Andrews was sitting up there whispering to the other person on the panel, she already said it. She is as shady as they come. And you know what, guys? If Robert Jobson was not on that panel with those people, there's a good chance that he may not have said things in quite the way that he said it or said it at all, although we do know he is shady. But I'm telling you, it's something about Emily Andrews. She will bring out the worst in people and then pretend like she had nothing to do with it. She was the one saying, it's the balcony, it's the balcony. So you have to, clowns always have a bag of tricks, right? Clowns always have little novelties, and they have that horn and the big shoes, and well, you can see the nose is not prosthetic; it's actually real. But they always have a lot of gimmicks for people, and so when you're dealing with clowns, there are people that are afraid of clowns because basically clowns can be very evil. So aside, they kind of deceive you with that loud makeup, but the truth is they can be treacherous. So just saying, there's a reason why kids are afraid of clowns. Anyway, there ought to be clowns. But where is the clowns? Maybe she'll disappear. Okay, so right here, Talk TV is a British television channel owned and operated by News UK. It is, let me see, it launched on the 25th of April, 2022. The channel features video simulcasts of talk radio programming in off peak hours, but launched with 3 original programs: The News Desk, Hoghead, Pierce Morgan Uncensored, and The Talk. Owner, News UK. Well, of course, the headquarters is in London. Founder, Rupert Murdoch. Key people, Rebecca Brooks. Yes, the babbling brook. Now, that is a babbling brook. So, all of the usual suspects. I don't know who that Scott person is, but I'm sure they're just as shady too if they're associated with these people. But the woman behind Arthur Edwards, she tried to say, let's not go there. But unfortunately, by the time she said it, it was already out. It was already out. So too little, too late. And then, of course, let's look at some of the other royal rodents. As a matter of fact, if you guys are not sure whether let me see. I think I have a picture. Now, you guys, if you are a bit squeamish, Oh, thank you, Joy Amore. I'm glad they enjoyed my rendition of Send In Emily Andrews. Uh, but anyway, you guys, um, I hope you're not squeamish or you're eating supper or anything like that. But I just so happen to have a image of a royal rodent. Now they are a very prickly type of individual. As a group, they can be devastating. Here's one right here. There is a royal rodent in their natural habitat, wearing some stodgy old clothes, and of course, drinking some magic elixir that without it, they could not maintain that semi normal appearance that they have. Like, for instance, um, maybe, just maybe that is something left over from Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey circus, or perhaps that is really a royal reporter. I don't know. But there is a royal rodent, ladies and gentlemen. I submit to you evidence A. Now, there are ways to deal with them. Um, you have to find someone really tough. Let's just say this is a Sussex squad member. And you just kind of see, the thing is, the Sussex squad is something about the power that they emit, just like with a cat. When the rodents smell the pheromones of the cat, they tend to avoid those areas. And it's the same when it comes to the royal rodents. All you need is someone who is sleek and elegant and has those amazing reflexes, let's say a squatty. And once they get a whiff of them, they're just like, nah, I don't want to hang around here. I'm going to move on. And of course, the squatty would say, that's a good idea. So, as you can see there's a Sussex squad member. So, I hear you have a royal rodent problem. And after that, the royal rodents, they just go the other way, or they lock you out of their channel. So that's what Robert Jobson did. He decided to lock his channel, and that way the Sussex squad cannot see his very privileged content. But yeah, so Jeremy Kyle says, um, let me see, what did he say? Made an unpleasant joke about the couple. Jeremy Kyle hit with backlash as he jokes Prince Harry should throw Meghan down a well. Oh, and then of course, Eamon Holmes, poor Eamon Holmes, can't get a break, can he? Eamon Holmes looked like somebody just grabbed him and threw him in the spin cycle. You know what I mean? You know how violently a washing machine hurls the clothes around in a centrifuge like thing, and the clothes are literally drained of all excess moisture. Well, that pretty much describes Eamon Holmes nowadays. He looked like he has been through the spin cycle, rinse and repeat, and then spun violently, um, also known as karma. Oh, okay. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I'm going back in the wrong direction here. Hi, Judy. Hi, Judy. And V. Bram, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a member, by the way. And Iris Demonia, thank you. You've been active on Twitter today. Is that right? Let's see. Royal message. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I did not realize that Sean had been communicating to the notorious gangster Gan in the great beyond. I did not realize that. Now, Sean, was there anything that Her Majesty wanted to share with us that you can convey? I'm going to call upon the other side. Let me see. There we go. All right. Okay. So, oh man, Sean, these powers that you have, I hope you only ever use them for good. Yes, Sean, I hope you only ever use these powers for good. So, is there anything that we should know? Yes. I, Queen Elizabeth II, ruler of the United Kingdom, and walkers with tennis balls on the bottom, do hereby declare that I was not happy to see strange men in my bed. I never seen Philip on it. Camilla can't. And for those of you in the UK, we call them walkers. I think you guys call them a walking frame. But as you know, one of the best ways to get a smooth mode of transportation is to add those tennis balls. But the bad thing about putting the tennis balls on the end of those walkers is from time to time, some canine will run up and try to just snatch it off of the walking frame or walker. So, yeah, tennis balls are very effective, but you sometimes tennis balls can trigger individuals that you least well you probably would expect it to happen, but yeah, tennis balls can be triggering. Just ask the queen consort. But thank you, Your Majesty, and thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you, Sean, for communicating with the other side. That is very impressive. And as Her Majesty says so often, there we go. Thank you so much, Sean. Okay, V Bram, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And let me see here. Shelly L says, now I know this man who hasn't had a neck for 10 years and couldn't identify his own situation in a police lineup isn't talking mess about Harry and Meghan. Every time he has to uh, find that situation, he yells, stranger danger. Oh man, either that or he has to do a handstand. I'm not even sure what that means, but it's either that or do a handstand. I'm not sure. Uh, you all are so bad today. Teresa McDougall says, Baron, just the mere mention of the name of these toxic, disgusting people makes me shiver and makes me want to upchuck. Speaking of upchuck, have you seen King Charles upchuck? Oh man. Joan Lawman, thank you so much for the super sticker and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Saturday to you. And thank you so much for being a member of Royal Sussex. Still a bargain at just $4.99. What a bargain. All right. Speaking of bargains, have you guys have you guys met Ford Fiesta? Speaking of bargains. Oh man. Let's see. Let me finish grilling this so-called royal reporter. So right there, you can see Robert Jobson cashing in Our Royal Baby by correspondent Robert Jobson. But you can see Robert Jobson with his very cordial relationship with Charles III. Also, I've seen another image of him with Camilla. And of course, there's Robert talking and sweating and panting and talking and panting and sweating and panting and gasping and panting and and of course but on a more serious note, I mean, take a look at that. This is what he was suggesting. And the lady with the darker dress there, she was the and look at Emily. Look at her. I'm telling you, she gets off on this kind of stuff. Now, she was the one saying the worst of it. Well, not the worst of it, but she was the loudest one. And Robert Jobson's the one that got in trouble. See what I mean? I can't say the word, but she's a real crap starter. She's the one encouraging, getting them all whipped up into a frenzy, and then Robert Jobson couldn't couldn't contain his vile language any longer. And yeah, just like Michael Jackson, you know what I mean? And it does kind of make me feel bad because, as you guys know, Michael Jackson was not in a very healthy state of mind when that happened, right? And the idea of that is a matter of fact, let me move on from this, but the idea of that type of image. Oh, by the way, you guys, let me give you an update. One of the things that I noticed before I came on is that Robert Jobson did two things today. He closed his account and he went right back to McDonald's, allegedly. But where are the carbs? There ought to be carbs. Well, maybe I'm here. Yes, Robert, where are the carbs? I'm sorry, send in the carbs. Jobson has closed his account and drowned his emotions in a package of ketchup and an order of chips. Yes, he has probably gone back to McDonald's to drown his sorrows in a quarter pounder with cheese and a 20-piece McNugget and a couple of cheeseburgers in case that's not enough, and an apple pie and a fillet of fish and a Diet Coke. Yes, all of that and a Diet Coke. Actually, two Diet Cokes so nobody thinks I'm here by myself. Uh, you guys, I I really do believe that there is a Sussex Squad detective agency, and the Sussex Squad detective agency, they don't miss anything. Now, how they managed to get this image of what could possibly be Robert Jobson drowning his sorrows at a fast food franchise, I don't know. But that is the power of the Sussex Squad Detective Agency. We always have receipts. You know what I mean? We find it. If it's out there, we will find it. And so, because of the scrutiny, you see, some of the people that was following Robert Jobson was probably uh, squatties, right? And when he locked his account, he thought that some of that criticism was going to stop. And also, there's another thing that happens when you lock your account. people cannot go back and look at your past tweets. Remember that. Remember what I just said. People cannot go back and look at your past tweets, right? Right. I mean, if he did say some things in the past that would be called into question today, surely by locking your account, nobody would ever find out, except the Sussex Squad Detective Agency always has receipts of everything you said. So it doesn't matter that you locked your account, because the Sussex Squad Detective Agency, we're like the Pinkertons. Remember the Pinkerton guard symbol was the big all-seeing eye? Well, that is the Sussex Squad, the all-seeing eye. You would think that we lived at, what is that, 22 and a half Baker Street? You would think we lived at Baker Street. So there you go. It doesn't matter. All I can say is you can run, but you can't hide, because there are just as many McDonald's per capita in the United Kingdom as there are any place else. So as long as there is a fast food franchise named McDonald's, we'll find you, and we are going to expose your past tweets. So good luck trying to hide. Okay. And then, of course, now this one, I cannot substantiate this one at all. I will leave it there and let you guys examine it. But I don't know that this one is true. I did not have the ability to go back and double check, but the Sussex Squad decided to share that. So again, I don't know 100 that any of that is true. Okay, so I'll just leave it there and let you sort it out. And while it's there, I'm going to go over and take a look at a few of your comments. Alma Andrews says he doesn't know how to use the touchscreen at Mickey D's. That's why the consternation. Oh, yes, the consternation is because he is frustrated because those little chubby dexteric feelings, not feelings, but those dexterous fingers of his is unable to navigate a menu. God, that's probably a first. But yeah, that's one menu that he cannot sort out. And Beverly McCaskill says, Baron, why don't you just say he brought out he bought out the restaurant, brought out the restaurant? Thank you for this, Squatties. He will bring the account back under another name. Well, who's to say he doesn't have an account under another name? It's, like I said, Robert Jobson is a very intelligent man. And it's a shame that someone with the skill, because he is a skilled writer, he writes very well, that someone with his skill does not actually do real work, but being a big gossip about a 1,000-year-old institution and the family that is at the center of it, that's not real work. I mean, that's the work of a historian, not a reporter. It doesn't take a reporter or so-called royal correspondent to do this work. Correspondents ought to do something like report on the state of the economy or the function of the working government, not the non-working constitutional obliged royal family, obligatory royal family. That's not real work. Discussing their charities and reminding us that this family has been around, this institution anyway, has been around for 1,000 years is not real work. Do something substantive instead of just sitting up there eating and chowing down with Charles the Third and Camilla, giving you access to things like Dumfries House, giving you access to a reinforced chair. Do something that's substantive instead of living off the, well, I don't want to be offensive and say it, but living off the fat of the land. Hanging out with instigators and provocateurs. Do some real work. Okay. So with that, let me move on. Another fine job by the Sussex Squad Detective Agency, where we always keep receipts. All right, you guys. Bear with me. Bear with me. Let me pull this down so I can see it. Princess of Wales hires Jamie Oliver's straight-talking ex-campaign manager to shake up things. And of course, the princess has appointed branding and marketing expert. I told you guys that I see branding and marketing all over this recent early years campaign. Okay, so branding and marketing expert Allison Cornfield. Yeah, Cornfield. To be her new private secretary in a highly significant gear change from what has gone before. Let me see. Rather than looking to government departments for staff, the princess has gone for a woman who started her life as a Virgin Atlantic flight attendant. Oh, God, not another air hostess. Good God, not a. Do you know what happened the last time an air hostess got near privilege? That's what happened. Wherever you have an air hostess, you have an airhead. You know what I mean? Air hostess equals airhead. Oh my God, this explains everything. This is how we got here in the first place. You know, and this is what she has in common. Carol Middleton has in common with the Kardashians. The matriarch worked for an airline. So if Carol and what is her name? Lisa, whatever her name is, Kim, what is the mama's name over there? If the two of them ever got into a hand-to-hand conflict, it would be air hostess on air hostess crime. It would be flight attendant on flight attendant crime. That's what it would be. Good God. Oh no, Connie Bomber. You're not gonna watch the replay, are you? Is it that late? Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, thanks, Connie Bomber. Connie Bomber! Good night. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, you guys, see, this is what happened when I start late. I lose Connie Bomber. Now it's gonna be weird. So, cut from different cloth than traditional courtiers, according to those who know her. The sharp-elbowed Cornfell will be the princess' new right-hand woman, and her brief, when she starts the job later this year, will be to take Brand Kate to the next level. Oh my God, Brand Kate. Brand Kate. Might as well say Brand Flake, because if there's anybody that's a very flaky individual. So instead of Brand Kate, why don't they call it Brand Flake? A flake. anyway, I'm not going to call it brand Kate. I'm going to call it brand Flake. And then, of course, here, God, these are so small. You guys bear with me. I can barely see that. Princess of Wales' new private secretary rejects job to stay under the radar. The straight talking PR guru hired as Princess of Wales' new private secretary has opted to stay with chef Jamie Oliver rather than take up the role the Daily Telegraph can reveal. Alison Cornfield, 51, is understood to have been uncomfortable with the prospect of having such a high profile position and decided instead to remain under the radar. The mother of three, a branding and marketing expert, has worked with Oliver for 8 years. A source said she loves her work and is an integral member of the campaigning team. She decided she just wanted to keep her head down and get on with the job she knows so well in the background. She didn't want the publicity that comes with working at the level for such a well known institution. Well, let me dissect that for you. In other words, she did not want to become one of them. She did not want to be lined up with a whole bunch of people that doesn't look like modern day Britain, except, they did bring that person of color in the background. But as you can see, his shoulders are not lined up with the rest of the group because he actually drives and his presence was an afterthought. So she didn't want to be aligned or associated with the likes of these individuals. And so that is the reason why she decided not to help Kate with those early yaws. But you guys, there is a little shade going on here, and I will share that with you in just a moment. Let me catch up. I thought I saw a super chat. Did I see a super chat that just drifted past me? Oh, by the way, if I didn't say it, I did say it, right? Joan Lawman, thank you so much for your super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Saturday to you. I hope I did. Hope I didn't miss that. I'm scrolling back and forth. But okay, Shelly L says he'll find a way to get those McFries. Or his name isn't Stranger Danger. Oh my God, McDonald's knows what his hands look like better than this little guy. Oh my goodness. Shelly L, you never disappoint. Thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. You guys are on fire today. You know that, don't you? Oh man. Anfu says it is alleged that the pearls were given a rose bush and not copycat weighty, too late trying to impress copycat. So listen, you guys, check this out. Princess of Wales' new private secretary rejects job, opting to stay with Jamie Oliver. Kensington Palace aide have gone back to the drawing board in their search for a suitable candidate. But then, from the same reporter on the same day, notice that the story changed. This is another one of those situations where Kensington Palace noticed that things looked unflattering for the royal family. And so now it says Alison Cornfield is said to be uncomfortable with the publicity, so decided to stay with Jamie Oliver, who she has worked with for 8 years. Now, within an hour, notice how the story changed. Look at the time there. And one of the squaddies shared this, someone from the, yes, they shared this earlier. And take a look there. You can look at the time. It actually cleans up the situation for Kate. so it doesn't look like someone beneath her has rejected her. Isn't that something? See how they do stuff? And we've seen this before, like that time Liz Truss told Charles that he could not go to the what is it, the COP27 summit. She ordered Charles to not go. Liz Truss made an executive decision and told Charles to stay home. And then the newspapers came back and said it was Charles who decided that it would be a distraction for him to show up. See how they do that? This is another case where they get a call from the palace and then suddenly they change the story. They'll yank one and put another one up. That's why it's so important when you see something that looks embarrassing to the institution, screenshot it. Do it right away because they'll take it down. Now, I was listening to Celebici earlier, you guys. Kaiser and I forget the other girl's name. They were talking about this early years Canary Wharf visit or financial district, business district visit that Katie made. And they said that let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I'm okay looking for it, but let me see if I can find it. But I was listening to them earlier today, and I promise you, I was screaming out loud. I don't know if my neighbors could hear me or not, but I was literally screaming about it. It was so funny. Now, one of my favorite things on Saturday is to wake up and listen to Celebici. So let me see if I can find it. Oh, no, that's not it. I just couldn't give it the justice that they could, so I would rather...
Thanks for listening to Gossip with... Evicted from Frogmore before the press even...
on the paper invitation. All they've gotten is this one
for that season, but I never got that into the Game of Thrones.
Give me one second, you guys.
But it amounted to absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Oh.
So her big business task force announcement thing where she goes into London and does a big photo shoot with business buildings and businessmen and businesswomen, and she wears a little suit there was nothing announced. The business task force was the announcement that she has formed a task force, and they have no agenda. They have no goals.
Okay, so while you were talking, I looked it up on Twitter and I found the picture of her standing in front of a skyscraper.
Right. I used that photo in the post.
I missed that. She's like trying to look all businessy.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And I am not overselling how bad her speech was. Like someone on Twitter said it read like Chat GPT wrote it, and then another person was like, "Oh no, Chat GPT could do better." And then they generated a speech that was actually better and made more sense than the one that Kate gave.
And she's just so bad at this. Does Kensington Palace staff not understand that she needs to actually announce something? She needs to put an actual project together. It can't just be this really vague, asinine busy work. Like, people have caught on.
And she was reading like a book report from somebody else. I don't even know if she knew what it meant because it didn't mean anything.
She did not. She did not know what it meant. Someone handed her the speech and she read it, and that was
communicate, scaffolding, scaffolding, whatever keywords she used. It was so bad.
She was talking about climate change too.
Yeah, I was trying to email with you about it, and you're like, Katie, this is what she always does. Why do you care? Like, you weren't rude or anything. It kind of cracked me up. I was like, yeah, I don't pay attention to her enough.
Well, every so often you're like, okay, I'm really going to pay attention to what Kate's trying to say. You do it every few months. You're like, no, I'm really going to listen to this speech. And you're like, holy shit, this is terrible.
It blows me away every time. Like, what happened? It blows me away. Like, she never adapted at all.
No.
There's zero practical, like, she's not even like, we should put more money in this. She's like, yeah, we should help kids. Like, helping kids is important. But she uses a ton of big words that mean nothing.
And that's shaping us. That's this whole new program, which is the exact same fucking thing that she's been doing for years now. It just rebranded with shaping us. And at no point are they going to say, and actually we're going to have a fundraiser for nursery schools for poor kids. Nothing.
No.
They won't do even the bare.
Okay, so you guys, it was worth looking for it. I had to share that with you. Now, I put the link up there for the Celebrity. They are on Saturdays. They usually post early in the morning. Click on that link and go ahead and subscribe to them. They are hilarious. And just that's why I said I didn't want to. I heard them talking about it, and I didn't see this photo. And when I found the photo, when I Googled like Kate Middleton, that photo popped up while I was listening to them, and I started screaming all over the house. It was the funniest thing. So again, you guys, please go over to Celebrity and click the subscribe button. You won't be disappointed. They come on usually on Saturdays. They don't do every Saturday. They take off sometime because they write professionally. But they are hilarious, and I love them so much. One of my favorite things about waking up on Saturday morning is to hear Celebrity is on, or to see it on, on the menu. So listen to the whole thing and enjoy. It's fun. It's just two girlfriends talking to each other about the royals and a few other topics. And so, if you guys ever heard me say jazz hands, right? If you ever heard me say jazz hands, I actually got that phrase from Celebrity. It was the funniest thing, I promise you. She's like, and why is she always doing those jazz hands? And I instantly, in my mind's eye, I saw Kate with those hands flailing about. And so, of course, me being messy, I had to go and create a meme. And so I found this very Fosse looking number. And I decided to inject Kate's image into the image just to complete it. And so there you have Kate doing her version of jazz hands. Yes, that's right. Kate is supposed to be an art history major, right? Mumbles was an art history major, which is an easy major. Willie was a geography major, but I bet both were passed through all classes, no matter how well they did. I doubt they earned their degrees, which is the ultimate nepotism. A lot of those kids get those degrees just because of their parents, or their parents went there, or in their cases, well, for William, we already know why, because it's not acceptable for him to be a failure. Shelly L says, that's all I see when I look at him. His, I think it's been kidnapped and the blob hanging over it. Thank you, Shelly L. We got to give you something else to think about. How about yellow t-shirt guy? Huh? Maybe that will offset things if you envision yellow t-shirt guy on those occasions when you feel like you know, perhaps yellow t-shirt guy is a good way to offset that. So, speaking of which, today Kate was at a supermarket talking about those darn early years again, and there she is, hands flailing. I could not believe that almost the entirety of the conversation, he got in a few words, but mostly it was her talking and talking, word salad, talking, word salad, laugh, smile, word salad, and hands flailing. And the funny thing too is that I did try to watch that speech that Kate gave the other day, and you know how she said I zoned out halfway through it. It wasn't a long speech, but I zoned out, and that's why I laughed so hard. Is because I remember trying to listen to it and kind of zoning out, and then I realized most of Kate's speeches I tend to zone out. She tries. I give her credit for trying. And, she's doing I guess they thought that this worked so well the other day. Let's get that blazer out again or something close to it. Let's get her out there again and let her talk to another business person about the early years. And I think what's really grotesque about this is that, are you trying to help people figure out how to get their kids a job at the local supermarket? Is that what the early years is about? Promoting the idea of kids working at the local supermarket? Now, there's nothing wrong with that. All work is valuable, but come on. I would like to think that as a society, that someone with about, I don't know, 20 nannies, cooks, chefs, drivers, housekeepers could possibly think out the box for the peasants and give them something else to aspire to other than working at a supermarket. I mean, come on, Kate, you got some connections. Is that the best you can do? Is to try to help the supermarket figure out a way to recruit people? That's what it seems like to me. Like this scheme is about recruiting kids to aspire to work in the produce section. And while I think that that is a very fine aspiration to work at your local supermarket, I think that in 2023, that we have somewhat moved beyond the produce section. So that's all I'm saying. Is to please give those kids something else to aspire to besides slicing bread. And then, of course, I went back into my archives and I found this image of Kate with her number 2 pencil, her binder with nothing in it, her little portfolios and papers. And we're supposed to believe that Kate was up at all hours of the night going over numbers and figures and facts and all that kind of stuff about those early years. But when nobody was looking, Kate saw that that little girl was on the TED Talk and wrote down those 5 things. And that is the foundation of the early years. She actually took other people's information, which is exactly what she did for her speech the other day at the business district. She just takes other people's stuff and recycle it time and time again. So much for the early years. And I want you to take a look here. Look at Kate. Somebody gave her some facts and figures, and she could not be more puzzled about what's on that paper. And I'm looking at her face and I'm saying to myself, does she understand the conversation that's taking place? Does she know what's going on around her? Does she have baby brain? Does she have a bird brain? Does she have a brain? All of those things were coursing through my mind when I saw Kate holding that binder. Who knows what it says? But I tell you what, even though she's sitting there with it in her lap, she probably doesn't know either. She doesn't give a toss about what that stuff is saying. They give her the speech, she mutters through it, and then she goes home. Not bad for a day's work. Let me see. She looks mad. It gave her too much information. Can you taste the smell by smelling it? Kate Middleton. She really did say that. She was at some kind of food court thing. Maybe you can maybe can you taste the smell by smelling it? She really did say that. I wish I was making it up, but she really did say that. Can you smell? Wait, can you taste the? Maybe you can taste the smell by smelling it. And that explains why someone who has worked for 8 years for Jamie Oliver took a good look at the situation and said, nope. When somebody tries to lure you away from a perfectly good job to throw you into this bizarre situation, there's nothing else you could say but nope. Could you imagine someone who has gone to school for years, honed their craft, have spent time with some very impressive people, academics, professors, lawyers, clergy, government officials, heads of state, and then suddenly you find yourself given the opportunity to work for Kate. And there's only one response most people can have. Nope. That's it. Nope. How do you respond to that? And what I say is the person who could look behind that curtain, I mean, really, you look behind that curtain and you see Kate, right? And you say to yourself, no, I can't. I like that. I like a person who can see behind all of what is in front of them, you know, the opportunity to work for the palace and the opportunity to work for the royal family. I can understand why somebody would just say, nope. I get it. Because who wants to have anything to do with that? You give them information that they can't understand. You got to go along with this idea that they are smarter than you or anybody else in the room. How do you justify that? It's a huge step backwards. And that's why someone would look at Kate and they would just say, nope. And that's it. So that explains a lot. That explains a lot. And thank you, Celibici. The many faces of Kate. That's the many faces of Kate. She's a soldier. She's an early years expert. She's athletic. She's a colonel and chief or something of the Royal Marines. She wears so many hats. She has so many arms and gloves and gowns. All of those things that she has or had been and will be tomorrow, at least somebody saw through it and said, nope. Yeah, not today, Satan. Not today. Now, take a look at Prince William. Prince William shows UK has unbeatable soft power and royal is becoming global statesman. All I can say is I think it is very sweet the way William has gone to Poland for a pulled pork sandwich and to talk to the troops, to thank the troops and everything. And also, I love the way he gently caressed and cradled the arm of the man holding the phone for the selfie. Nothing strange about that. I'm glad that he's secure in himself enough that he could go to Poland for a pulled pork sandwich and cradle gently the arms of a stranger so that they can take a selfie. Nothing to look at here, folks. That is just someone who is very secure about his masculinity and his position as the future king of England. Nothing to look at. I'm glad that that he's sure of himself. I would hate to think that he would restrict himself from being his true self just because he's in Poland amongst all of those soldiers and army people and stuff like that. I'm glad he knows what he's doing. He understands himself and he doesn't see anything wrong with that. I'm sure nobody would take him to task for gently cradling the arms of that man to take that selfie. He's just being very tactile. Now, it's a shame he's not like that with his wife in public, but he's being very tactile with that man with maybe it's the hair. Maybe it's that very thick hairline that he has, that nice head of hair. Maybe that's why he feels a kinship to him like that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he's hoping that that'll rub off. Maybe that's what it is. Nothing to see here, folks. He's just merely gently cradling this man in his arms to take a selfie. Everybody has done that at some point, I'm sure. So yeah, cool. But just remember, it started it started with an opportunity to thank the armed forces, and somehow it wound up a pulled pork sandwich, and I guess it ended with a gentle caress and a selfie. And that is how we are going to remember his trip to Poland as a statesman. He thanked the troops, he had a pulled pork sandwich, and he caressed the stranger. Now, that is what I call leadership. Oh, man. You guys, I wish I was making this stuff up. No, I don't. I'm glad it's here. But that is true. It started off one thing and it kind of disintegrated into something bizarre. But I'll take it. How do you take your pulled pork sandwich? Tell me more about your pulled pork sandwich. Oh, man. Okay, you guys, let's continue, shall we? Oh, man. Baron, we're going to ignore the fact that Willie went to his coming out pegging party in Poland. Here we go, thinking he's in love with Rose. Oh, man. All right. All right. So right here it says virtual event, the crown under fire. Why the left campaign to cancel the monarchy and undermine a cornerstone of Western democracy. Oh, man. You're going to make me break. What is that? Broke with your PPP shadiness. Well, Stacy Brockman, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Saturday. I am sitting here, my face is hurting from smiling. My face is hurting, but thank you so much, Stacy, and happy Saturday to you. So remember I said earlier that I pulled upon a thread. Well, I did pull a thread here and a thread there, but it gets more interesting. Panelists, look at the panelists. Right Honorable Sir Lane Duncan Smith, MP, Member of Parliament, former leader of the UK Conservative Party and Member of the Parliament for Chingford and Woodford Green. And then, of course, Tim Mont what is that? Whatever. Tim, political commentator and founder of Conservative Home. Monty. All right. And then, of course, there is a name I'm sure you all recognize, Camilla Tominey, associate editor, London Daily Telegraph, and the royal expert and commentator. Remember, Harry said, how do you get to be a royal expert? Niall Gardner, PhD, director, Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom, and Bernard Barbara Lomas Fellow. Bernard and Barbara Lomas Fellow. So anytime you see fellow, you know that means higher academics. Anytime you see royal expert, you know that's usually a effing liar. Not to say that Camilla Tominey is, but she's been known to take license with just about anything. Camilla Tominey, a woman who has more surface area between her hairline and her chin than I've seen since the Easter Island statues, that Camilla Tominey. She's on this panel of the Heritage Foundation. Now, I'll say to you right now, go ahead and Google the Heritage Foundation and see what comes up on your phone. It is one of those conservative groups that believe that there is some type of leftist agenda that people are trying to undermine the United States government. Well, this panel, which convened on March 25th, 2021, well, let's think March 25th, 2021. Is there anything that you could think of that happened the month of March 2021 besides a global pandemic, besides swearing in a new president and vice president of the United States? How about the Oprah Winfrey interview? Harry and Meghan are learning that Hollywood only represents real royalty. The Sussexes could do worse than attending the coronation, if only to show Tinseltown that they still have a part to play in British history. Now, that's Camilla Tominey of what, a week ago, 2 weeks ago? But the Camilla Tominey that was on this panel was part of this group that was questioning why is it people in America, and in particular, why is it the left wing is somehow trying to undermine the British government? Why is it that they're questioning the royal family about being racist? And they're trying to link all of these things to the Sussexes. And yes, I will admit that the Sussexes have played a part of the questions being asked about the relevancy of the British royal family. However, that is not their big problem. This is their big problem right here. King Charles III. Anybody with two of their several senses knows that Charles was going to be a problem when he got to the throne. Charles, the adulterous king, and his adulterous queen consort, I mean, their relationship has been predicated on the idea that they do not follow the rules. The rules are not made for them. The rules are made for everyone else. And so all of these things should have excluded him from ever becoming the head of the church, the leader of the armed forces, etc. But instead, he's in there, and he's going to be crowned in May. So Camilla Tominey, at this point, was part of a panel designed to clean up the mess that was created by the Oprah Winfrey interview, because people were talking and continue to talk. And so I didn't really consider exactly, excuse me, I didn't really consider exactly how much that interview changed things. But these two people right here, I'm telling you, they have been a force to be reckoned with since they left that island. Even while they were there, they were all too powerful for the royal family. But now that they are away from Narnia, now that they have become a success, with or without the titles, it doesn't matter. People love them. Americans understand. It's just like that statistic that I showed you, where more people were able to identify with Meghan after that interview with Oprah Winfrey than before. People continue to have the warm feelings that they've always had for Harry, but a lot of Americans just did not know Meghan Markle. The only way they viewed Meghan, and some people still view Meghan, is through the lens of the tabloid media, and unfortunately, through the lens of the mainstream American media. But if you get beyond that, you'll find out that she's a very likable person. So Camilla Tominey, she has been trying to perpetuate this lie that the Sussexes are not popular. And she even has decided to stretch the truth. Now, I can't say that she has stretched it as long as other things have been stretched. There's certain parts of her that has been stretched almost beyond recognition. So I can't say that it's that kind of a stretch, but she's been known to stretch things. Stretching is part of who she is, whether you stretch things vertically or whether you stretch them horizontally. You get the point. But either way, there seems to be this obsession with the Duchess of Sussex. Not so much Harry as much as the Duchess of Sussex. She either speaks about them as a couple or she only speaks of the Duchess. And usually in some kind of very disparaging manner. Yes, you're absolutely right. From the island of Easter, such as, ladies and gentlemen, direct from Easter Island, Camilla Tominey. Oh, man. So I listened to this today, and it was very interesting. Now, the Heritage Foundation, you see the bell. That represents the Liberty Bell. That is not Big Ben. That is the Liberty Bell. I just couldn't understand. Well, I guess I do get it, but somehow someone called in a favor and had this panel convene so that they could speak about the what do they call it? The special relationship, that special relationship between the United States and Britain. And I get that. And the guys were very very what do you call it? Erudite, but still very painfully critical of the Sussexes. And that's what the conversation was about. The crown under fire. Why the left campaigned to cancel the monarchy and undermine the cornerstone of Western democracy will fail. They think that Harry and Meghan are the source of what is causing the collapse of the British monarchy. It has nothing to do with Charles, Andrew, and dare I say, even the Queen, for staying in that position so long that the monarchy is more identified with her as a person than as the institution under a crown. That is what really has ruined things. Charles is pathetic as a human being. He's pretty lousy as a father. He's done some great works. He has worked very hard. I cannot take that away from him. But there are other parts of Charles's existence that has been atypical of a privileged white man at the very height of the aristocracy, at the highest level of the aristocracy. Him included, of course. But there's nothing that Charles has done that hasn't been very typical of someone in his position. He doesn't seem to know people. He has good intentions, but he don't know people. He don't protect the people in his life. And dare I say, I think toward the end, he didn't really protect his mother. But they had a tough relationship, so I understand. He hasn't had it easy. But he didn't even protect his mother. I mean, no matter what happened, that's still your mother, but he didn't even seem to protect her. He doesn't protect people. He doesn't protect people. And I don't even think he really protected Camilla. Camilla protected herself. Camilla made the deal with the tabloid media, not Charles. It was Camilla. Camilla was the one who hand-selected the PR guru, not Charles. Charles paid the money, but Camilla protected herself. It wasn't Charles protecting her. Hello, Ivy here. Hey, Ivy, it's Ivy is Sussex Global UK. So, Meghan Markle Oprah Winfrey interview, an insult to the Queen and the British people. Now, I never saw any of this stuff until today. I didn't know that Camilla Tominey had aligned herself with the Heritage Foundation, but the Heritage Foundation is a foundation of very conservative people who want to maintain the idea that no matter what happens, Western society, the Western industrial society, the big Western powers and economies should always make sure that the white man is at the very head of everything, on top of everything. Control the money, control the economy, control everything. And any threat to that, like integration or immigration, any of those things is a threat to that hierarchy. Racism and classism go hand in hand. Racism is hand in hand with a caste system, and they want to make sure that the right people are on top. And someone like a Suella Braverman ensures that remains the status quo. Isn't the Heritage Foundation also the one who wants Harry deported? And yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It is these so-called think tanks. Absolutely. I'm surprised that it took them this long to come up with it. I really am. And they excuse me, it's not like they hadn't mentioned in the past that Harry, how did Harry get his visa so fast? How is Harry this? What is Harry's legal status? They have been trying to probe to find any type of weakness. And it's the same type of campaign that was used to get Barack Obama to show his birth certificate. It is these things that caused the Swift boat. You guys remember John Kerry was running for president, and they had that situation with the Swift boat? It is that type of thing that the Heritage Foundation is good for. They try to find any weakness, and they'll sit around with a bunch of these very high-toned conversations. I'm just surprised to see Camilla Tominey there, though. She is nothing more than a gossip columnist as far as I'm concerned. I'm surprised that they would recruit her. But Camilla has a very good what do you call it? She's very good with her I'm trying to avoid saying anything that would be too derogatory, but she's good at what she does. And just like that photo on the bottom right, when Phil asked her about something that she lied about, she buys time by looking up at the ceiling. She'll take a deep breath, purse her lips like that, and she's so fast with those comebacks. I mean, it's incredible to watch her work. It really is. I don't admire her as a person, but to see how fast she can retort, to see how fast she comes back with a response, you never seem to get her on the rope. She always finds a way. If she can't push back, at the very least, she's going to try to make herself look as credible as possible. She's very good at that. I mean, she's good at her job. I have to give it to her. She's very good at her job. I would hate to see her enter or exit an automobile, for obvious reasons. I would feel very tense and distressed by watching her try to put her head through a car, to enter a vehicle and such. That would cause me a little tension, only because I would be afraid that she would hurt herself, right? You know what I mean? It's like if she puts a scarf on, how many times does she have to wrap it around her head just to get it up to like the bridge of her nose? I'm just asking for a friend. Black Queen, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. And thank you for being Mod Squad. Thank you for being a moderator on Royal Sussex. Thank you. But yeah, she's very, it's very tough to pin her down. Very difficult to really pin her down because she's very good at what she does. Let me see. Baron Suella Braverman calls herself a child of the British Empire and is against doing a trade deal with India. What? Are you serious? She's against doing a trade deal with India? And child of the British Empire, are you a child of Britain or are you a child of the British Empire? That's worrying. That is quite worrying. But good for her if that's what she needs. Let me see. I agree with that statement. Charles didn't protect his mother at all. And it's my opinion that he was running things for the last couple of years. Yeah. Yeah. I think the Queen was just kind of, I think the mentality was that she just wasn't relevant anymore within the royal households, that she was not relevant amongst the collective royal households. So, okay. So let me see what's in the small print right there. The interview was a petty exercise in mean-spirited and spite without an ounce of grace or humanity from the former actress. Speaking of Oprah, of course. Her already low popularity in Britain will sink even further following her interview, which will be rebroadcast Monday night on the UK's ITV network. And then the very last one, I can barely see it. Meghan does not appear to understand at all that being part of the royal family involves a life of duty and service to the British nation. Now, I believe that was written by an American. I mean, I watched the conversation. It's about 50 minutes long. And the entire conversation was about how bad this is for the royal family, how it will threaten the relationship, the special relationship between. Oh, hold on one second, you guys. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. But I listened to the conversation, and dare I say, it was all about how awful Oprah was for giving them a platform. That's what bothered them, is that Oprah dared to give them a platform. If I was Oprah and I had a chance to talk to Camilla Tominey, you know what I would say? Were you lying or were you lying? Were you lying or were you lying? Which is it? Was it a lie or was it a big lie? Oh man. So yeah, I wonder if they had another conversation, but I'm going to have to go back and look at some of those videos. It was interesting. It was very interesting, but it was like a right-wing nightmare group of people, and Camilla Tominey right there in the thick of it. Okay, description. In order to launch an assault on the British monarchy, the American radical left has seized upon the claim from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, that the royal family created a hostile, racist environment for the couple, Britain's constitutional monarchy, among the most powerful conservative institutions on the world stage represents everything the radical left despises: tradition, authority, hierarchy, patriotism, and the political and religious ideals of Western civilization. Meghan Markle's Oprah Winfrey interview, an insult to the Queen and the British people. Let me see. Was that the one? Yes. So that was the one there. And let me see. Our panel of British leaders and experts will explain what this cultural moment means for both America and Great Britain and why the left attacks will fail. Please join Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom and Simon Center for American Studies for an insightful discussion about defending conservative institutions and uniting to preserve the special UK-US relationship. And so, let me see, an American defense of Britain's yeah, I got to see that other video. I think there's another video, so I do want to see that one. So yeah, you guys, I actually pulled upon that thread, and when I yanked on that thread hard enough, you know what popped out? You want to know what popped out when I pulled that thread? This popped out. It did. I pulled that thread, and suddenly my entire monitor was filled up with nose and cheeks and chin and forehead and flat hair and a quivering cleft. All of that filled my screen when I tugged upon that thread. All of a sudden, it jumped out. I literally sat back in my seat. I was like, ah! But that's what happened. I pulled upon that thread, and this came out, gnashing its teeth, squinting its eyes, pursing its lips, the tight jaw. All of that came out because I dared to pull upon that thread, which brought me to that conversation with the Heritage Foundation. So be careful what you ask for, you guys, because when you're not thinking about it, all of a sudden you're going to get this all over your monitor. And who needs that? The only thing worse than that is this. Sometimes you can have a real troll on your monitor. Okay, so with that, you guys, in that conversation with the Heritage Foundation, guess what I heard? I heard one of them mention, one of the people from Britain mentioned the fact that Joe Biden had removed the bust of Winston Churchill from the Oval Office. You heard me. Joe Biden, Joseph Robinette Biden, Joseph Nobody F's with me Biden, had the nerves, the brazen audacity to remove the bust of Sir Winston Churchill, the savior of Britain, removed his bust from the Oval Office, which technically is his as long as he is president of the United States. So for the conceivable future, I hope it's the next 6 years, that is going to be his office, and he can do whatever he wants. Now, I recall that when, oh gosh, what is his name? Donald John Trump somehow managed to cheat his way into office. He removed the bust of Martin Luther King. Yes, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, who you see in the middle at the bottom, that was the first thing to go. I mean, literally, as soon as they hopped out of the beast, he ran into the Oval Office and said, "Get it out of here. We'll have none of that." But Joseph Biden has decided to fill his office with things that are more relevant to the United States, like Abraham Lincoln, Rosa Parks. Is it Che Guevara? No, not Che Guevara. Oh gosh, what is his name? The union guy. Oh man, I can't remember his name. And also, Martin Luther King has been brought back to the Oval Office. Gosh, who was the guy in California that worked with the unions? I forget his name all the time. I always call him Che Guevara, and I know that's not his name. But anyway, that is his bust that you see on the bottom lower left side, is the Mexican American um, union guy from California. Chavez, Hugo Chavez. Thank you so much, right? Was it Hugo Chavez? Anyway, thank you, Beverly McCaskill. That is the bust of Chavez. So that is the difference between the Bush and the Trump Oval Office. I think Bush kept Martin Luther King, but Trump got rid of him. So Biden, he got rid of Winston Churchill. But you know who else got rid of Winston Churchill? Barack Obama. No sense in having someone who tried to keep the British Empire, in other words, the old colonies, together. But this is what Winston Churchill represented. And as much as it hurts people to realize that, it is true. Winston Churchill represented white supremacy. He represented the colonial powers of the British Empire. And the other thing that he represented, there were some people who have even accused him of participating in a genocide of all things. So there's a lot that Winston Churchill wanted to keep after the Second World War. And Franklin Roosevelt said that the British Empire, as you know it, will no longer exist. Now, he didn't say it to Churchill like that, but that's exactly what he meant. And of course, Harry Truman, he wasn't the kind of person that was going to try to help them put things back together. So the United States did what any other country would do. They said, now we're the superpower. But it was nice for you for a little while. So yeah, so Barack Obama and Joe Biden, they both removed Winston Churchill's bust out of the Oval Office. But you guys, if you're feeling a bit nostalgic, if you're feeling bad for Winston Churchill, well, let's face it, Winston Churchill inspired a country that was literally brought to its knees by the Blitz and all the other stuff. So that was a terrible time. And I don't like to say that anything in life. Cesar Chavez, thank you. Is Cesar Chavez, not Hugo. Yeah, Hugo is the president of Venezuela. Thank you, Cesar Chavez. Oh, thank you so much for that. Oh, I see. All right. Thank you guys. I told you I could never remember his name. But yeah, so if you are British and you're feeling kind of bad about what happened to Churchill's bus, do not despair, because it's not like they threw it out. Oh, by the way, HL, thank you so much for the Cash App, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Let me see. Baron, Winston Churchill was responsible for the deaths of millions of Indians. He did not win the war. It was the Sikhs, Gurkhas, American, and a collective world effort. Well, Corona Reina, the people that paid the highest price for the Second World War, in terms of loss of life, it was the Russians. It was the Soviet Union. The Soviets lost more people than anyone else because of World War II. And that is a fact. If it wasn't for the blood of the Soviet Union, that war would have continued longer than it was. But by the Soviets putting up such an incredible resistance on the Eastern Front, it cost a lot for the Reich. And so if I had to say on balance who was the most responsible, I'm going to say it was Russia. The United States, of course, sacrificed, but we also made a lot of money. The United States came out of World War II, the sole superpower in the world, and the United States is still benefiting from that. So we have more military bases than anybody else in the world. Did you guys know that? No other country spends as much on war and the military or has more bases than the United States of America. So that sounds like an empire to me. Sounds like an empire. It sounds like Manifest Destiny. Remember that one? Okay, but yes, you guys, don't worry. They no, Phyllis Johnson, and they are not using it as a door stopper either. Now, I bet you guys are thinking that maybe in the presidential kitchen or something, there's a door stopper that looks a lot like Winston Churchill, but it's not. Okay, do you guys want to see what happened to him? That's what happened to him. He is in a presidential dining room, not the, main dining room, kind of like in the staff cafeteria. You see there? Now, yes, he's surrounded and flanked by lots of photos and everything, but it's not like they're using him as a door stopper. They at least put him in the staff cafeteria, the West Wing cafeteria. You like the way I built that up? At least he's in the staff cafeteria. It's not like they threw him out or something like that. He's at least in the staff cafeteria. I mean, look at him. Every day he gets to watch the president and the vice president eat their hamburgers. So I'm so cruel, ain't I? You see how I strung that along? I made a whole meal out of telling y'all what happened to him. Is he a door stopper? No. Is he in the basement? No. In the garden? He's in the staff dining room. Yeah, so they got him there with a whole bunch of photos. You know what? I don't know when this I don't know when this photo was taken, but I'm pretty sure by now you can't even see him. They probably got so much stuff in front of them. You can't even see him no more. Poor Winston. Oh, well. Let me see. Monique EXU, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Shady. I'm sorry, Royal Sussex. Oh, did I slip and say Shady? I meant to say Sussex, not Shady. Royal Shady. And well, if I had to explain Joe Biden's feelings about Britain, just remember his mother hated the royal family, hated the Queen, and even, well, I won't say she hated the Queen, but she told Joe Biden, don't you ever bow to her, ever, or I will jump out of my grave and snatch you ball. So that is the very feisty Mama Biden, who did not care for the British. She's extremely Irish and very, very entrenched in her feelings about the British Empire. So that is one of the reasons why I think it is very wise to tread lightly with that president, is because, as he said, nobody F's with Joe Biden. Nobody. So, you guys, I think that is it for today. Yes, I think we are done today. So thank you very much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Saturday to you all. Thank you, moderators, for making sure that we are in a very safe space. Also, thank you for your many contributions, big and small. Let me see here. And remember, the link for the Celibacy is over there at the very top of the chat. Well, thank you, Sussex Global UK, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Ivy here. That is Ivy. Ivy will be posting tomorrow, I'm sure. And I believe the link. Oh, I don't have the link. But yeah. But anyway, you guys know I'm crazy about Ivy. So, all right. I'll be looking for a last word for today. Well, let me make sure it's true, because sometimes when we see something like that, it may have been, they like to do those hoax and stuff like that. So let's see if it's true first. But you guys know I love me some Carol Burnett. I'm so glad we had this time together, just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems like we get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. Good night, everybody. But yeah, that is the closing of the Carol Burnett Show. Wow. Well, I'm waiting to see if it pops up on my feed, and I don't see it yet. Not that I don't believe you guys, but, I like to see something a little bit more official before I go with it. Carol Burnett. I tell you, Saturday Night Live would not be the show that it is today if it wasn't for the Carol Burnett Show. Carol Burnett was a bit of a pioneer when it came to that, not only for the variety shows genre, but for the parodies. Have you guys ever seen Carol Burnett do her parody of the Queen? Now that is fun. I don't see it though. I'm looking and I'm waiting to see if it comes up. Yeah, I don't see it, you guys. I mean, I don't see it. Yeah. Well, Connie Bomber, are you back? My goodness, born in 1933. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it, you guys. I'm looking, and usually stuff like that pops up while I'm working. I don't see it. So yeah, I don't see it. There's a lot of stuff on the internet, so I hope it's not true, but I don't see it. So until we know better, until I have some confirmation, I'm going to just leave that alone. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. I'll be looking for the last word of the day, which is Shelly L says, good night, squaddies. Thank you, Shelly L, for that. That is our last word of the day. And also, thank you to our queens. Where are our queens at? Where are the queens when we need them? And no, not the Duke of Edinburgh, not that queen. I'm looking for a real queen, a different kind of queen. And not that queen either. No, Your Majesty, not you. And please do not tell us 1992 is a year that I shan't look back upon with undiluted pleasure. If I hear that one more time. Okay. I'm looking for our queens. Oh, by the way, you guys. Yellow t-shirt guy. I don't need to say anything else. I'll just leave that there until I find what I'm looking for. Yellow t-shirt guy needs no announcement. Oh, there we go. All right. Thank you so much to our queens. Oh, okay. All right. So oh man. All right. Thank you to our queen. And thank you to our moderators who always seem to know exactly what's needed with this channel. Okay, and with that, you guys, I'm going to play out with Ginger Avenger. Or I tell you what, why don't we do Madam Duchess and then the Ginger Avenger. Because you know what they say, it's 6 o'clock somewhere. Let me see. It's 6 o'clock somewhere. Okay. Camilla. Oh my God, Camilla, they're throwing away those plastics. Do you know how terrible this must be for the environment? Camilla, they're using plastics. Charles, just pick up the trash before they notice us. Charles. But Camilla, they're not even using organic fruits and vegetables. We don't have that at Highgrove. Oh my God, Camilla, what are these people doing? Charles, do you want to lose your head today? Now shut up and pick up that trash. Okay, Camilla, whatever you say, Mummy. Oh, man. Oh, well, it was either that or let me see, or, what is the or? Wait for it. Oh my God, Camilla. That's not sustainable. None of this is, Camilla, it's not sustainable. Charles, do you want them to notice? Wait, Charles, do you want them to notice us? So I think it was either that or, wait for it.
People who aren't necessarily reaching out, who are struggling, who perhaps don't feel they can reach out, or the fact that maybe they haven't realized that addictive behaviors have sort of established.
Have you ever had a dreams that you want him to do you so much you could do anything? Have you ever had a dreams that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, good night, you guys. Love you.